Congratulations, you did everything right. You finally paid off your credit card or loan. And then your credit score dropped. You're confused, maybe even angry. But what if I told you that drop isn't a mistake? It's actually how the system is designed. In this video, I'll break down exactly why your score can dip after paying off debt and whether it's even a bad thing. Let's start here. Your credit score isn't about rewarding you. It's not a thank you note, it's a risk model. It predicts how likely you are to use credit and pay it back, not whether you're good or bad with money. And that's why paying off debt can sometimes make you look less active. Top reasons your score might drop. You closed an account, let's say you paid off a credit card, and then decided to close it. It feels responsible. But to the credit system, it's a loss. That card added to your total available credit and your credit history. Close it, and now your utilization goes up and your average account age could drop. That's 2 hits in one move. That matters because utilization is one of the biggest factors in your score. It tells lenders how much of your credit you're using compared to what's available. Higher usage equals higher risk in their eyes. And a shorter average account age makes you look less established, which can lower your trust factor with lenders. So even though paying off and closing the card feels responsible, it can make your credit profile look riskier on paper. Next reason could be that you paid off an installment loan. Installment loans, like car loans or personal loans, show you can handle fixed monthly payments. Once it's gone, your score might shift down because the system sees less credit variety. In other words, your credit mix just got simpler, and that can hurt. It's kind of like removing one of the food groups from your credit diet. Even if it's a smart move financially, your report now looks less balanced. Next we have no revolving activity. Here's a sneaky one, paying off all your cards and not using them anymore. Seems great, right? But if your report shows no recent revolving activity, it can look like you're no longer engaging with credit at all. Credit scores are dynamic. They want to see how you use credit today, not just what you did last year. If you're invisible to the system, you're harder to predict, and that affects your score. Think of it as a "what have you done for me lately" scenario. A card that shows a $0 balance for 6 months might eventually be marked inactive. And if the issuer closes it due to inactivity, you've got the same problem we talked about in point A, less available credit. Another point is that statement timing affects what gets reported. Here's a hidden credit trap. Even if you pay off your balance in full, when you pay, makes a difference. Let's say your credit card statement closes on the 20th of the month. If you paid it off on the 22nd, great, you're on time. But the credit bureau's already got a snapshot of your balance from the 20th. That higher number is what's being reported. And it could make it look like you're using way more of your credit than you actually are. Even responsible use can hurt you if the reporting snapshot looks wrong. That's why many experts recommend paying down your balance a few days before your statement date, not just by the due date. That way, what the bureaus see is closer to your real usage, and you avoid getting dinged for high utilization that you technically already paid off. It's not just about if you pay, it's about when the system sees it. So let's bring it back to the big question. You paid off debt, your score dropped. Does that mean you messed up? Not necessarily. In fact, in most cases, it's just a short-term adjustment, not a long-term problem. Credit scores are built to model risk based on recent activity. So when something changes, like a loan getting paid off or a card being closed, the system has to recalculate your profile. That recalculation can create a temporary dip, even when the move was responsible. Think of it like shifting your weight on a balance beam. You're still upright, just adjusting your footing. That wobble doesn't mean you're falling. The score drop doesn't mean you're less creditworthy. It just means your credit behavior changed and the algorithm is catching up. That's why you might see a dip of 10 to 20 points, and then a rebound within a few months as your new profile stabilizes. And if you're not actively applying for a mortgage, auto loan, or new credit card, this kind of dip doesn't actually impact your day-to-day life. So no, the drop isn't a failure. It's just a reminder that credit scoring is built on formulas, not feelings. And when you understand the rules, you stay in control. Now, to hold this control and prevent the dip, don't close the card. Even if you've paid it off, keep the account open. Put it in a drawer or tuck it away digitally. Just make a small purchase every few months, a coffee, a streaming bill, and pay it off. This keeps the account active without adding debt. This strategy helps preserve your credit limit, your account age, and your credit mix. 3 pieces that quietly support your score behind the scenes. Also, you can time it smart. Avoid paying off and closing accounts right before a big application, like a mortgage or car loan. That small dip could nudge you into a lower tier, changing the interest rate you qualify for, or even the loan decision. If a lender pulls your score while it's in flux, it may not reflect your true credit strength. Be strategic. Leave some activity. The scoring model rewards recent usage, not zero activity. So consider leaving a small, manageable balance on 1 or 2 cards, or rotate usage across your cards each month with tiny purchases. That way your profile stays active and predictable, which the system likes. And finally, zoom out credit is a long game. A short-term dip doesn't erase years of responsible behavior. Keep your utilization low, avoid late payments, and let your profile grow over time. Remember, your credit score updates constantly, but real impact comes from consistency, not perfection. Here's a quick recap. Credit scores aren't emotional, they're formula-based. Paying off debt can shift your profile, not punish it. Temporary dips are just the system adjusting. Smart timing, a little ongoing activity, and understanding how the model works keeps you ahead of the game. If you're serious about understanding credit and building long-term power, like the video and subscribe. We break it down plain and simple so you can move with confidence. Making money makes sense, and doing it the way school never did.